The age before memory. Before the first pyramid touched the sky. Before the Nile carved its emerald path through endless desert. Before the names Ra, Osiris, Isis, Horus, and Anubis were ever spoken by human lips, there was only darkness. Not the darkness of night. Not the darkness behind closed eyes, but a cosmic stillness, older than time, deeper than silence, where nothing yet existed, and nothing yet dreamed. From this boundless void, the ancient Egyptians believed the universe awoke. Not with a whisper, but with a stirring, a shift in the eternal waters of none, the limitless ocean of pure potential. And in the heart of that sea, a single mound of earth rose upward, breaking the surface like the first breath of creation. This sacred mound was Benben, the first land, the cosmic foundation stone, the place where existence took its first step from nothingness into light. And when the lotus blossomed atop this mound, the universe changed forever. What follows is the complete chronicle, told in full, immersive narrative detail, of how the gods of Kemet shaped the world, battled for power, guarded the underworld, guided the dead, and watched over mankind. This is the story of creation, the rise and fall of divine kings, the wars fought across desert and sky, the serpents that battled the sun, and the guardians who stand between life and death. This is the mythology of ancient Egypt, reborn in a new voice. Chapter 1, The First Dawn, when creation opened its eyes. In the beginning, there was only none, the infinite flood. No land, no sky, no breath, no gods, only the endless, swirling primordial waters. But even in this endlessness, something stirred, something that rose upward with purpose. From the formless deep emerged a mound of earth, the Benben, the first island of stability in a world of chaos. Upon it rested a lotus flower, silent, closed, waiting, and when the lotus opened, its petals unfurled light into the darkness. From within it emerged Ra, the radiant one, the first god, the embodiment of the sun itself. Where Ra shone, nothing could hide. Light pushed the shadows back, forming the first boundary between order and chaos. Ra, seeing the vastness around him, chose to shape it. By the power of his own being, through word, breath, and will, he generated the first divine pair. Shu, god of air, the breath between living beings. Tefnut, goddess of moisture, the lifeblood of existence. Together they ventured into the darkness beyond the first island, exploring the infinite waters. Days passed, then weeks, then years, time still unmeasured, uncounted. Ra feared he had lost them. In grief, he wept, and from the tears that fell onto the newborn earth, humankind came into existence. When Shu and Tefnut returned, Ra's relief was so powerful that it filled the young universe with warmth and order. And from Shu and Tefnut came the next generation. Geb, god of the earth, strong and fertile. Nut, goddess of the sky, vast and infinite. The two loved each other so fiercely that sky and earth clung together in an unbroken embrace. But life needed space, room to grow, so Ra ordered Shu to separate them. Thus the sky was lifted high, arching overhead, while the earth lay beneath, forming the world as we know it. Ra ruled this creation as the first pharaoh of the gods. Under his reign came the sacred animals, the seasons, and the greatest gift of all, the river Nile, the living artery of Egypt. Yet even the greatest light foretold its own eclipse. Ra saw a vision, the descendants of Geb and Nut would one day rise against him. He forbade the earth and sky from bearing children. But destiny does not bow to fear. Geb and Nut broke the command. From them were born Osiris, Isis, Set, Nephthys. For powerful gods, each a force destined to shape Egypt's fate. Ra stepped aside. A new era began. Chapter 2, The Golden Age of Osiris. Osiris rose as the new sovereign of the world, a king unlike any before him. Where Ra was radiant power, Osiris was harmony, wisdom, civilization itself made flesh. His reign transformed humanity. He taught the people agriculture, the secrets of seed and soil. He gave them laws, bringing order to lives once ruled by chaos. He taught them bread-making, weaving, and the arts that turn survival into life. Egypt flourished. Fields glowed green. Harvests were plentiful. The Nile's rhythm became the heartbeat of a rising civilization. By his side stood Isis, his beloved queen, wise, powerful, and devoted beyond measure. But in the shadow of this harmony stood his brother, Set. Set ruled the desert, the barren lands where the wind howls and nothing grows. Where Osiris saw life, Set saw only emptiness. Where Osiris was praised, Set was feared, and envy began to coil inside him like a serpent waiting to strike. Set's resentment grew deeper when Nephthys, his wife, disguised herself as Isis and conceived a child with Osiris. That child would become Anubis, the god of the dead. Betrayed, humiliated, burning with rage, Set crafted his revenge not in haste, but with patience. He built a coffin of exquisite beauty and perfect dimensions, crafted specifically to fit Osiris and no one else. And when the feast came, when Osiris reclined among friends and family, Set revealed his gift. One by one guests tried to fit inside. None matched. But when Osiris lay within it, the lid slammed shut. Bolted. Sealed. Set and his followers lifted the coffin and cast it into the Nile. The river carried the god away, and the world dimmed. Isis searched for her husband endlessly, across marshes and deserts, through kingdoms and foreign shores. When she finally found the coffin, hidden deep within the reeds, she wept so fiercely that her tears caused the Nile to flood, a cycle that would define Egypt for millennia. But Set was not done. He discovered the coffin, tore open his brother's body, and scattered the pieces across all of Egypt, 42 pieces, divided as the provinces would one day be. Still, Isis did not give up. With the help of Nephthys and the newly born Anubis, she gathered the fragments. Piece by piece. Bone by bone. Limb by limb. Anubis performed the first mummification, binding Osiris in linen and divine oils. And through Isis's magic, Osiris lived again, but not in the realm of the living. He became ruler of the underworld. Lord of the dead. Eternal judge of souls. But before returning to his throne beneath the earth, Osiris fathered a son. A child born for one purpose. To avenge him. Chapter 3, The War for the Throne, Horus vs. Set. Horus, son of Isis and Osiris, grew not in luxury but in hiding. His childhood was spent in marshes, protected from Set's wrath by his mother's spells. But as he matured, so too did his destiny. Horus sought justice, not only for himself, but for the entire world suffering under Set's brutal reign. Set ruled with iron and storm. The desert encroached upon fertile lands. Chaos began to claw back into the world. Horus stood before the gods and declared his right to the throne. The court of gods assembled. Presiding over them was Ra, the aged sun god. Set argued that he protected Ra from the great serpent Apophis each night in the underworld, a duty of immense importance. Horus argued that the throne belonged to him by birthright. The gods could not decide. So the battles began. Horus and Set transformed into colossal hippopotamuses, submerging into the Nile for a test of endurance. Isis, seeing Set vulnerable, attempted to strike, but compassion stayed her hand. When Horus learned of this, his anger erupted so violently that he struck his own mother, severing her head. Thoth restored her, replacing the head with that of a sacred cow. The battles grew brutal, lasting 80 years. In one encounter, Set tore out Horus's eye, a symbol of power, protection, and divine authority. The eye of Horus shattered into pieces. But the goddess Hathor restored it, returning Horus his sight and his strength. Set, desperate, plotted one final humiliation. He invited Horus to a feast and attempted to defile him, which would have made Horus unfit to rule. But Horus outwitted him. Later, Horus and Isis contaminated Set's lettuce, his favorite food, with Horus's own divine essence. When Set ate it, the gods discovered his shame, and the celestial court erupted in outrage. At last, the judgment was made. Horus would ascend the throne. The rightful king. The living ruler of Egypt. Set's punishment was eternal. He was condemned to join Ra on his nightly journey through the underworld, fighting the serpent Apophis again and again, never victorious, never free. And from Horus came the lineage of all pharaohs, kings who ruled not as mortals, but as embodiments of the falcon god on earth. Chapter 4, Ra and the Solar Boat. Ra, though ancient, remained central to the order of creation. He sailed across the sky each day in his solar bark, bringing light to the world. But at dusk he descended beneath the western horizon, entering the dark realm of the Duat, the underworld. Here, Ra passed through 12 gates, each representing 1 hour of night, each guarded by spirits, deities, and dangerous forces. In one of these realms sat Osiris, ruling with calm authority. Ra always paused to greet him, sun meeting earth, day meeting night, the cycle complete. But the greatest threat in the underworld was Apophis, the monstrous serpent of chaos. Apophis attacked Ra's boat nightly, seeking to swallow the sun and end creation. Sometimes Apophis succeeded. When the serpent blocked the sun, Egyptians witnessed solar eclipses, believing the serpent had momentarily devoured Ra. But Ra always escaped. And one of his defenders was none other than Set, who used his immense strength to battle Apophis through the night. Though Set was chaotic, his power was needed. For even chaos has a purpose in the balance of the world. Ra was worshipped across Egypt, but nowhere more profoundly than in Heliopolis, the city of the sun. His legacy became entwined with other great gods, Ammonius Ra, the hidden one, Adam Ra, the finisher of creation. Even pharaohs bore his name. Ramses meant son of Ra, a divine declaration of power. Ra's journey was eternal. Each day he was reborn. Each night he struggled through darkness. Through him the cycle of existence continued. Chapter 5, Anubis, Guardian of the Dead. Anubis, the jackal-headed god, is one of Egypt's oldest deities, older even than Osiris's rule. Before Osiris became lord of the underworld, Anubis held that role. With sleek black fur symbolizing both death and rebirth, Anubis watched over the dead with solemn duty. He was a master of embalming, a guardian of tombs, a silent sentinel over burial grounds. When Osiris was slain, it was Anubis who performed the first mummification, wrapping his body, anointing it with sacred oils, preparing him for life beyond death. Anubis guided souls to the hall of judgment, where their hearts were weighed against the feather of Ma'at, goddess of truth. A heavy heart, with sin unbalanced, was cast to Ammit, the devourer, part crocodile, part lion, part hippopotamus. A heart lighter than the feather earned passage to Osiris's blessed afterlife. Later, during Greek rule, Anubis merged with Hermes, another guide of souls, forming Hermanubis, a symbol of cultural unity. Yet throughout history, Anubis remained the same, loyal, watchful, uncorrupted. A god who stood at the threshold between two worlds. Chapter 6, Bastet, Lady of Joy, Fury, and the Sacred Cat. Bastet, the cat goddess, embodied both grace and ferocity. With the body of a woman and the head of a cat, she represented beauty, protection, and domestic harmony. Egypt revered cats as sacred animals. They protected grain from rodents. They warded off venomous serpents. And they comforted homes with their quiet presence. Bastet was gentle by day, a bringer of music, fertility, and joy. But at night she transformed into a fierce lioness, defending Ra against Apophis. To harm a cat was a crime worthy of death. Families mourned them as they would loved ones, shaving their eyebrows in grief. Cats were mummified and buried in vast feline necropolises, honored with the devotion reserved for sacred beings. Some traditions linked Bastet to Sekhmet, the lion goddess of war, either as her tamed form or as her divine sister. Even today, the mystique of cats owes much to Bastet's legacy. Their watchful eyes seem to remember a time when they walked as guardians of gods. Epilogue, the gods who never left. Though millennia have passed, the gods of Kemet still linger. Ra rides the sky in every sunrise. Osiris rules in the stillness of every grave. Horus spreads his wings in every falcon soaring above desert sands. Set rumbles in every storm. Anubis watches quietly in every shadowed tomb. Bastet curls gracefully in every cat's patient stare. Their stories shaped a civilization that shaped the world. Their symbols still live, etched in stone, whispered in myth, shining in memory. And as long as their tales are told, the gods of Egypt remain eternal.